No Hipsters Pod.
I like to say to my fans and my family, to my sponsorship, to the haters too. I apologize as much as I'm disappointed. I know that when I submit a track, I don't represent myself. I represent a community.
Episode 44, No Hipsters Pod. It's your boy Ronte, the founder of NoHipstersAllowed.com. And this week, our co-host is my girl, Alexis Garner. Alexis, what's up?
What's good?
Glad to have you back.
Thank you.
If you've been watching TV at all in the last couple of days and you see that Bill Cosby, who was found guilty of sexual assault, is now a free man after serving for only 2 years. So he was released on a technicality. And it's just mind-blowing, actually, because on the previous episode of the podcast, the guest, Thevy, was saying how male entertainers never have to pay any consequences. And the rare occasions that they do, they're old, like Bill Cosby or R. Kelly. And now, just like days after she says that, Bill Cosby is a free man. And I'm truly shocked. What do you have to say?
Yeah, I mean, that one really kind of came out of the blue for me because I guess I just hadn't really been paying much attention. I just knew he was under the jail somewhere.
Right,
So
right.
I wasn't clocking him. But when the decision came down, to let him out, I just immediately thought of the victims and, just was wondering kind of like what sort of headspace that they were in and what kind of trauma reemerged in their minds. And my heart goes out to them tremendously. It's really unfortunate because we all know he's guilty, know?
Right.
Like, it's just a fact.
So there was a civil suit against him by one of his victims, actually the victim that eventually led to his conviction, Andrea Constant, who is a former Temple University employee. Now, mind you, all this is happening while I was still at Temple, by the way. So,
wow.
Yeah. But she had a civil suit, and I guess in return for Bill Cosby giving a testimony during that suit, the prosecutor at the time, I believe his name is Bruce Castor, who also happens to have defended Donald Trump during his second impeachment trial. So the agreement was that in exchange for testifying in the civil suit filed against him by Andrea Constant, he couldn't be charged criminally for the allegations. I didn't even know that was even an option. I thought people could be subpoenaed, but I mean, I'm no lawyer, so I don't know. But basically, that was the basis. And so because they made that agreement, the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania turned around and said, if the preceding prosecutor said that this is how things have to go down, then they have to stick to their word. And so now he's a free man. It's wild. It really is.
Yeah, our justice system, if we ever thought there were holes in it, they bust this one wide open.
Right. Right. It's just...
It's crazy, and setting a precedent, for other criminals to really skirt by and get through, get by with things that are just disgusting, deplorable. I could use so many other adjectives, but yeah.
It's wild. And things that Bill Cosby has been pretty vocal since he got out. Like he did a radio interview. He's now trying to rewrite history. Like he let out a tweet yesterday that basically said, I've never admitted to anything, even though in 2015 he definitely admitted to giving women quaaludes. It's crazy. It's really... And now Felicia Rashad is now in it because, she already made her stance known many years ago, but she felt it necessary to send out a tweet in support when Bill Cosby was released. And so now she's under fire, and her current employer, if you will, Howard University, had to put out a statement disavowing her tweet because, you can't have a dean of your university openly supporting a rapist. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah, that probably hurt me a lot more, besides him getting out. That sucked. But then to see her still caping for him at this stage of the game, and I'm embarrassed to say she's also my sorority sister, and they have not released any sort of statement yet. So I'm just kind of like, oh God, Howard got right on top of it and handled it. But at the end of the day, I'm really just kind of looking at Felicia Rashad like, sis, what's really good? I understand you had an intimate working relationship with this man, but you can't possibly, truthfully believe what you're saying. You can't believe the words coming out of your own mouth.
Right.
I don't see how it's possible.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, on one end, I'm always impressed by the loyalty, but it's like, why stake your career on this? I mean, first of all, there are literally dozens of accusers, and so for that alone, like I would imagine most people would stay away from it, but dozens of accusers, and he was actually convicted. Like, why stake your name and your legacy on this man in this way? But well, it's you know, it's her life, her career. Who knows?
Right. Best of luck.
right. I've never seen such a just sudden rise to fame followed by such a hiccup. So Sha'Carri Richardson, the athlete who rose to stardom literally just like 2 weeks ago, right?
Who went to my school.
Right, that is right. Listen, both of our alma maters are in the conversation today. Interesting. But yes, LSU grad. Well, actually, I think she's still an LSU student, actually. She's only 21. But yes, Sha'Carri Richardson, who rose to fame after qualifying for the Olympics on June 19th, is going to miss a significant portion of the Summer Olympics because she tested positive for marijuana and tested positive on that very day where she became famous. From a sample taken on June 19, she was found to have tested positive for THC, and so she is being suspended by the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency for 30 days. So actually the suspension actually began on June 28th. It was provisional till they actually retested, and then it becomes official. So she's been suspended effectively since June 28th, and that suspension ends on July 27th. It is just very heartbreaking. I mean, she's not going to be able to run in Sweden this Sunday as scheduled, and she will also miss the sprint at the Olympics, which is supposed to be a big deal because she's supposed to go against the Jamaican. Yep, but she will fortunately get to run in the 4x100 relay race. So I don't know, thoughts.
Yeah, this one, I really struggle with this one, right? Because I understand that there are rules in place, around sports, and sportsmanship is important, right?
Right.
And people can't take other enhancers and steroids and things like that. So if that's on the list, it's like, okay, just comply.
Right.
But at the same time, on a very human level, we all know that she just lost her mother,
Correct.
Her biological mother, right? And so, I mean, maybe that was one of the ways that she was coping. That's what I've seen a lot on social media, that she did that to cope. Or maybe she just did it to do it,
Right.
Like people smoke weed every single day. It is becoming legal in more and more jurisdictions. So I just really am struggling with the fact that that's what they got her on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She wasn't cheating. If anything, I don't have smoker's lungs. I'm like, she's putting herself at a deficit. I can't smoke nothing, okay?
Right. Listen, the fact that she was able to dust them people with weed lungs is really impressive. I mean, like, this funny, someone actually tweeted that she put her in the Hall of Fame because she's running that well with weed lungs. But it's really sad. And yeah, I definitely agree. The rules are there for a reason. And people are arguing and twisting themselves into pretzels to argue that, yes, weed can be an enhancer because it calms nerves and things of that nature. It relieves pain. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a stretch.
It is. And it's funny because I went to the FAQs at the USADA website, and they have all these reasons listed for marijuana because apparently they get asked a lot as to why it's on there because it's not considered cancer by most people, but they have all these flimsy reasons listed. And so it almost sounds like they don't really believe it either, but they have to, and partially because they've signed to the World Anti-Doping Agency. And so all the different nations who participate in these international competitions kind of have to agree to the same rules, regardless of what your local laws say. So it's unfortunate, like, honestly, because she just got on,
Yeah, but I mean, the beauty is that she's super young.
Yes, only 21.
She's 21, and guess what? That time that she's going to be sitting at home watching, She might watch the race, but she will be practicing and running and making herself better so she can go out there and get gold in the 4x1. And that when she goes back in the next 4 years, which is really 3, right? Because they should be getting themselves back on schedule because this is supposed to be 2020 Olympics. So
that is very
3 years, she gonna go and bust some heads wide open. So I'm not too much worried about it. It's life, and I saw that she had written that, she's like, I'm human,
yes, yes,
and I totally identified with that. Like, humans make mistakes. To me, this is not one that warranted the punishment that she got. That's in my mind. But at the end of the day, she's human. She messed up. She's being punished for it. But thankfully, it's something I think she'll certainly bounce back from.
Right. And she's actually, apologized publicly. She was on the Today Show earlier today talking to Savannah Guthrie about this whole thing and apologized to, her friends and family, even her haters. So, it's it's sad. But part of me is actually really upset with her coaches, though, because, it's one thing for the athlete to be reckless, but I think this is where the coach comes in and tries to kind of keep them abreast of the rules and how you don't get, tripped up on technicalities, because I feel like this is just so avoidable. That's what's killing me about this. Like,
I know. Yeah. I mean, where is your coach? Like, hey, no weed in locker room.
Right. And not just no weed in the locker room, explains them a whole, like, this could cost you, your career. Because it's cost you this thing that you've worked so hard for. You've worked so hard. You've excelled. Why screw it up over something so silly?
So silly. I was like, girl, you could have smoked that weed on,
the day after, right?
From Japan, you could have waited on that one, but
unfortunate. Yes, indeed. All right, let's talk about the BET Awards. And fun fact, you were actually here for the last recap last year. And so it's perfect that we have you here again. So they have an audience again. Of course, they're not, at the, same capacity as the pre-pandemic, but they were in a room and they had people spaced out and watching live. And, it's great. A lot of performances, a lot of big wins. Megan Thee Stallion was a big winner of the night. She won about 3 or 4 awards, I believe. And a lot of, 2 performances that stuck out to me was, of course, the Migos with Cardi B. She announced her 2nd pregnancy. Yes. And honestly, they were performing type shit when she revealed that. And part of the lyrics is like saying this is the type of shit that makes you go viral. And then she shows the belly. I thought it was brilliant. And I love it. Love it. Thoughts?
I loved everything that I saw. So let me tell you this. that particular night, I was busy. And so I didn't get to watch it live. But, I went through, watched all the clips, especially for all the performances that I cared about and the more controversial ones, because I will also say that I love the BET Awards. I really, really do. It's no other night where Black excellence is like fully represented. We can show out, be ourselves, and know that, like, I think in most instances, the right person is going to get the award.
Right. Correct. Right.
And even if they don't, it's like that soulful sort of like brother sisterhood. Like, I'm happy for you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just a really beautiful experience. And I just think back to some of the more memorable ones for me, like Beyonce Deja Vu is forever my favorite BET Awards performance. I just want to put that out there.
Really?
Fight me, anybody.
I actually would have said the Crazy in Love performance. And it's funny, Zendaya actually paid homage to that outfit and wore the same dress that Beyonce wore for that performance.
Yes, and she looks fantastic.
I know,
in it.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Yes.
That's crazy. That's 18 years ago now. Can you imagine?
Oh my God, I don't want to imagine. I'm doing that math. And I'm like, oh no.
It's 18 years ago.
A little cringy.
Right. And another performance that grabbed headlines was Lil Nas X performance. And so, I mean, I already knew he was going to do something like, to shock the people. I just wasn't sure what. And so it was this Egyptian themed performance, and also, paid homage to Michael Jackson's Remember the Time video. Mm-hmm. And he, of course, ends it by, making out with one of his male dancers. And so it was interesting to see reactions online. Of course, a lot of people cheering him on, and then, you had the homophobes as well. What did you think?
I'm not unaccustomed to performers pushing the envelope. That's not a stage where something like that, I would say, typically happens, but kudos to him for being that bold, like he's still really kind of in a league of his own, I would say, as far as musical artists go, who really are just like outwardly like, this is who I am. Like, take it or leave it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. I love it.
Right.
So, I applauded him for that. Now, like, how I felt in that moment when I watched it, to me, it was it was forced. You know what I mean? And it didn't, I don't know, like, it just kind of came across as like, okay, I could have dealt with that. There are other ways that I think he could have like given us what he gave us without it just being so artificial. It was a little fake to me.
Yeah,
but
I mean, of course, I get what you're trying to say.
You know what I mean?
But I mean, I feel like it was just as gratuitous as Madonna and Britney.
Exactly. Exactly. So and I thought that was fake and cheesy too. So.
Right. These things always seem a bit like, okay, we just wanted to shock us, and mission accomplished, I guess, for some people. So it was interesting, and it's just interesting to see how different some of the reactions were to, like, I guess, I mean, now that was also 18 years ago, the Britney Madonna situation, but like, people are always less outraged by women kissing each other than they are men. So it's very, very interesting, but good for him. And other than that, though, I feel like the performances were generally kind of boring, I think.
Ooh, I am going to have to disagree with you, Roxy.
Really? Go ahead.
I mean, there are a couple that really stuck out to me.
Let me know.
So I am all about leaving the door open. That was such a phenomenal experience. What's the collab name?
Silk Sonic.
Silk Sonic. I was like, what's the name they came up with for themselves? Silk Sonic.
Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak as individuals.
Yes, Silk Sonic. I mean, that to me, the club scene, the camera work, visually, I really enjoyed that. So that was one. And then what was my number two? Oh, Jasmine Sullivan and DC's Ari Lennox. Yes. I mean, the vocals on that song were phenomenal. I mean, I live for some solid vocals. Should
I tell you why I'm laughing? Because when you said Ari Lennox and DC's Own, I thought you were going to say Maxine Waters. Because, Maxine Waters definitely opened the door. Now, she's from California, but she's a congresswoman. So she lives in DC. But that's what I was laughing. Now, with the Ari Lennox situation, the whole time I'm thinking, damn, Jasmine set her up. Like, because because Jasmine sings circles around it. It just felt like, you brought it up here to look bad. But
is that what you thought? I thought Ari held it. See, you know what? That's why everything ain't for everybody. Okay? Because I was like, you better go on and do it, Ari. Like, I thought she held her own. Now, Jasmine versus
great
Ari.
gowns, beautiful gowns.
They looked beautiful. And, like, I don't know. It hit for me. I really enjoyed their performance. I also I like the one that the new song, because it's a new single that just dropped that she did when Maxine came out, and it's like Reclaiming Her Time. I have had that song on repeat since the BET Awards. Yeah. So
actually, I have an admission to make. I actually haven't listened to Whole Tales in its entirety. I need to fix that.
This is a new single. It's not for Hotels.
Not for Hotels. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Oh yes, she did drop a project the other day. Yeah.
Yeah, sure did.
Cool.
Check it out.
Yeah, we'll do. Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. Remember, they did promise us an album on May 14.
Yeah.
But that never came. So apparently there's like some behind the scenes maneuvering that is delaying their album.
Well, that's unfortunate because I want to hear it.
That's the whispers are that the labels can't come to an agreement about how this is going to work out. So they haven't even recorded any music, apparently.
Dang. Yeah, because I heard Anderson at the end of their performance, he made a little joke like, y'all ready for some new music? And I was like,
right. So apparently that was it might have been a nod to the drama going on behind the scenes. But yeah, very
with the scoop right there.
I do my best. I
love it.
Let's talk about Lil Kim and Nicki Minaj. So on the red carpet of the BET Awards, DJ Envy asked Lil Kim about possibly doing the Verzuz.
Would you do a Verzuz?
Yes.
You would do it?
Yes.
Oh, I see that. All right. Is there anybody that you would do it against, or are you just ready for anybody?
Nicki.
Nicki? Really? I would love to see that.
Yes, me too.
I would love to see that.
Now, of course, Lil Kim has kind of softened her position on Nicki in recent years. She's not as mad at her. But I don't really think they're from the same era, number one. But number two, I can never see that happen. I feel like there's been so much bad blood. I don't see them being cordial enough to do a versus. But what are your thoughts on that?
I would agree with you. I think the beauty in verses is that it's usually a matchup of eras, right? So, to take Lil Kim, the queen bee,
right,
her predecessor, and match her up, to me, that's a gross mismatch for something that I've really grown to love, the versus programming. So I'm trying to think, I don't even know. Eve already battled, who was it? Eve, who did Eve just battle? From Florida.
Trina, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, even that one, I don't know. The matchups have been a little off to me lately, but I just think they've kind of reached a point where the matches aren't so obvious anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you're not going to have so many Brandy Monicas. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
It's just, it is what it is. And
the well is drying up, and all the other interesting matches are going to be between people who will not do versus, So
they either won't do it or they have too much like beef. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Go through with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
So that's interesting. Actually, I mean, in some ways, I feel like maybe Foxy's a better matchup. But the thing is, Lil Kim has way more hits than Foxy.
Yeah.
And
way more.
For that era, it's actually hard to match Lil Kim, so I can kind of see why people would think Nicki. Now, Nicki technically has more hits than Lil Kim, but again, like I said, the eras are different, and music is just the way it's released is different. The way the chart rules work are very different. Like these days, you don't need like an actual album single to get on the charts. You just need to have a song.
Yeah, and I want them to do a little bit more like gender bending with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it's like the woman on woman. The only time we really got to see, I feel like, a battle that was cross gender was
Alicia and John,
Keys and John Legend, and it's really just because they had the piano in common. I mean, musically though, I do think that they have very similar styles, so it wasn't the worst matchup, but it was boring.
Right.
I mean, I just feel like I think that they could come up with some matchups musically that align, but maybe gender-wise, a man and a woman, whatever. I would really like to see that. Missy Elliott, like you could put Missy Elliott up against a guy any day. She'd probably kill him.
Right. So. And actually, and happy birthday to Missy. She turned 50 years old yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday, Missy.
So I was actually had the whole like Throwback Thursday selection be about her, so I picked like 5 songs. So it's funny, people think of her as a rapper first, but I realized I actually like more of her sung songs than her rapped songs. Is that the same? Like, what are your favorite?
Like her singy songs?
Yeah, the R&B songs. All of My Grill, Take Away, 1 Minute. Like, literally, I think 4 of the 5 that I picked as my favorites were all like R&B songs and not the rap songs.
Yeah, that's interesting. She did kind of slide more that direction at a certain point in the career, but I appreciate all of it. Like, I just think like her contributions to music, like over the decades, you know what I mean? Like she just keeps serving it. And
really, truly.
Yeah, like true powerhouse. So yeah, happy birthday again to you, Missy. Keep making music, keep making us dance. Okay.
All that.
If people don't dance no more. All they do is this. Like they just stand around and look at each other, and I hate it.
Yes. All right, winners and losers. Alexis, I will let you go first.
Definitely the winner for me is Cardi B. And I just really love how she has changed the music game. She's doing it her way. She's like, I don't care if I'm at the top of my game, I'm going to have a baby and y'all going to accept it and love it. Okay.
True.
And I'm going to pop out in the most extravagant ways to let you know about it. Like I think it was Saturday Night Live the last time. That was super dope.
Right.
The BET Awards. I mean, she's really coming through with the pregnancy announcements, next level. So love me some Cardi gang. And then biggest losers, I would say anyone who was a victim of Bill Cosby. I think they're the biggest losers this week because
damn.
Yeah, that's just a lot. That's just a lot to have to process.
Nah, let's make Bill Cosby the loser instead. Let's give them women a break.
I mean, I feel for them. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I know. I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like, he's the loser, but not loser like you suck, but you're losing because you really are just in a crappy place this week. So, but yes, supporters, we love you. I mean,
yes.
The victims, we love you. We support you. Shout out.
Right. I just I don't want anyone to misconstrue what you're trying to say. That's all.
Thank you for cleaning that up.
I got you. And so for winner, I was actually stumped, and I was going to say Cardi B as well, but I guess not since you took it. So I'll say the other winner. The other was. Twitter is actually considering a few new features, like a trusted friends feature, so you can actually choose your audiences the way Instagram lets you do that. So, like, I don't know how much you use Twitter, but I swear by Twitter. So that is a welcome feature for sure. And the second winner would be Andy Murray, the tennis player. So he was at a press conference at the Wimbledon.
Andy, Sam is the first U.S. player to reach a major semifinal since 2009. How would you describe
male player?
I beg your pardon?
Male player, right?
Yes, first male player. That's for sure.
And honestly, it was just the most brilliant thing because he didn't crack a smile or anything or make it easier for the journalist. So that's what we like to see. I mean, of course, I hate giving white men praise for doing the bare minimum, but it was just a cool thing to see him stand up for Venus and Serena Williams, who have literally won probably, 15, 20 Grand Slams between them since 2009. And so that was great to see. So shout out to Andy Murray. And my loser, I have to agree with you again, Bill Cosby, more specifically, though, the justice system for really failing the victims, and Felicia Rashad for just jumping out the window like that. Man, what's going on, man? It was just such a bad look. And can you even imagine being a student at the College of Fine Arts at Howard and hearing your dean say that? How will that make you feel when if you end up being in an unfortunate situation where you are sexually assaulted? The person who rules over your college is out here publicly caping for a sexual assault. So it was terrible look, and I don't know why she did that, but
I hope she really takes into account the feedback that she got. Really take it seriously. Don't just brush it off.
Right. Terrible. Yeah. And my last loser, I have to say, is the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency and the World Anti-Doping Agency, because I really do believe that they need to revisit the rules about marijuana. I mean, it's just based on what I see on their website, it sounds like they don't believe it either. It just sounds, they sound pretty unsure about it. And so I think it's something that needs to be revisited. I don't think it's fair that a young athlete who's rising to stardom gets to lose such an amazing opportunity because she tested positive for cannabis. It's just, in 2021, we have to do better than that. Alexis, as always, this was a pleasure. Before you leave, let the people know where they can find you on social media.
All right. You can find me at Jet Set Lex on Instagram. Also, Lex in the City, since we're talking about Twitter. Right. You can follow me there. Lex_in_the city.
Yeah. And of course, bells and whistles. Come on now.
Oh, and I got too many socials. Ron, I got too many socials. And yes, for your event design needs, you can also follow me at Bells and Whistles DC on Instagram.
That's BELLES.
Like a Southern belle. Absolutely.
Episode 44, No Hipsters Pod. Talk to you next time. Bye.